Crime is up, staffing is down. That's a trend that's plagued police departments across the state over the last several years.
So the ratio of officers to residents is well below the national average here in Washington state, but some departments are taking major steps to try to solve the problem. King 5's Drew Andre live in Kent, where he spoke to the police chief about how he's been able to turn things around while other departments still struggle with staffing. Drew, what'd you find out?
Yeah, well, Jake, Kent has 167 sworn officers now, which represents fully staffed. The chief tells me that's still not quite enough, although the last few years he says they've tried innovative recruiting measures that have gotten them to this point. 38 fresh faces line the walls inside the Kent Police Department. All presented their badges in 2022, a record number of new hires. A department that just 1 year before saw a mass exodus. Most for a law enforcement job somewhere else, others leaving the field altogether, and the rest calling it a career.
You had officers who felt like they couldn't deliver the service and the protection they wanted to under the law here.
Chief Rafael Padilla says that's when they had to change their approach altogether. Invest in recruiting, while short staff take some off patrol to recruit instead, hitting every college in the area, creating a social media presence, and offering early incentive bonuses and better assignments for new hires. But it also took money.
We became overnight the highest paid department in the state. So that's putting your money where your mouth is.
In late 2021, City Council approved a 16% pay increase. That kicked in last year. Officers with at least 5 years on the job jumped to salaries over $105,000. A luxury not all departments in the state can tap into. That's why Padilla believes state lawmakers should step in with funding.
It's always been left at the local level, and some cities can afford that.
Padilla believes on-time or early retirements and short-term stays at departments are the new normal.
We're going to stay ahead of the curve, start looking at things like hiring ahead and those things that are common in the private sector but not in government. And we're going to have to think more like the private sector.
Padilla says the last 2 years, low staffing contributed to record years of crime, specifically violent crime in his city.
You've got to have the officers out there that aren't running from call to call to call to call. If you want to prevent crime, those preventative community-based patrols are going to be the game changer. But those take people, and we need people.
So 5 years from now, Padilla hopes that they could have 200 sworn officers, although he says if they stay on the same pace they're at right now, he says they'd only be adding a max of 3 to 4 officers every year. And again, right now, they're in the 160 range. Jake and Mimi.
Well, it's pretty encouraging to hear that Kent PD is getting more officers. What's the average age of these new hires, Drew, that Kent is bringing on board?
So it's definitely a lot of younger people, Mimi, that are coming on board. The chief tells me that the average age is around people in their 20s, which also adds up to the type of recruiting they've been doing. As I mentioned, they went around to almost every college in the state, and that's been one of their big efforts to get younger people on board and in the department.
Interesting key there when it comes to recruiting. All right, Drew Andre, interesting story there. Thank you, sir.